Hey guys, now today's video, we're going to talk about how you can speed up your home network by upgrading your router. And let's face it, more and more of us are starting to have a lot of streaming solutions in our home. And in many cases, the streaming solution or the router that comes with, let's say, your network provider, your cable provider, may not be enough. So having a router that can go ultra fast and handle all of your networking needs is important. You're streaming from your TV, you're streaming from your phone, you're streaming from your tablet, you're streaming everywhere. If you have a doorbell, if you have a security system, all these devices are streaming. It's not just about gaming anymore. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at this product from Reyee. This is the Epic AX6000, and it has one of the most fastest processors that I've seen on a router, especially as I'm going through the actual system and checking things out. This thing is fast. So we'll take a look at the specs. We'll see how it performs. And maybe this bad boy will be your next router for home. Let's go ahead and check it out. So let's talk about the specs. Wi-Fi 6 for sure, 2.4G and 5G supported. It has auto bandwidth controls, which means that depending on what you want to prioritize in your home, you're going to be able to do that. If it's going to be file streaming or file transfer, web browsing, media streaming, gaming, downloading. If you're looking for game acceleration, this got you covered. You'll be able to prioritize these things. It has 6 high-power antennas that you're going to see in a second, a physical gaming port, 2 gigahertz quad-core processor, and it could support up to 512 devices. Now, the thing about this is that as you're accessing the software, and you're going to see this as we're going through the actual web page inside of the router, this thing is fast. It's actually one of the fastest ones that I've seen in quite some time. And I have some really high-end gaming routers, and we consume terabytes in our home because of all the devices that we have and frankly all the devices we test. It's a mesh hybrid router as well, and it also can support Wi-Fi aggregation. There's a lot to say about this router. Now, the router itself is very futuristic looking, and we'll take a look at it right here. You have, again, all these antennas that, again, you can adjust, right? And they're going to be able to give you the best coverage in your home. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over on its side right here so you can see all the connections that you have going on. I'll flip this around right here. So first of all, you do have 4 Ethernet ports or connectors that you'll be able to connect to. You also have your network connector. You have your power, you have your reset button, and you do have the ability to mount. So you have 2 mounting screws right here on each side. So if you want to have this on the wall, you can. Pretty much, it's going to be a router that you can put anywhere in your home. I have this, or had this before disconnecting it closest to my access point. We're going to actually connect this to one of our T-Mobile access points so that we can test that with the solution. Because sometimes, again, the routers that you have that come with the solution provider you have may not be able to handle the distribution that you want, the bandwidth that you want. So having a router connected to that or to that hub makes a lot of sense. I have one connected to my internet cable provider, and I also have one for my secondary provider in the event that we have an outage. So it does come with an Ethernet cable, which I highly recommend you use. Many cases when I get feedback that a router isn't performing the way it performed for me, it's because you may be using the Ethernet cable going to the actual main router that you're connecting from, wherever your internet provider comes from, is not a cable that can handle the speeds of the router that you have. So make sure you use the cable that comes with the solution. You can see right here, this is what the power brick looks like. And your power brick plugs in, and then it just goes. So let's go ahead and plug it in. We'll check out some of the features that the software has so you can see why you may want to consider this router for your home. Now we've accessed the router's internal web page. Just trying to walk you through a couple of the options that you have here now. I had to reset the router just to show you how things have been working, but we, again, download so much information, especially since we do all the YouTube stuff and also we run our small business through our home network. But a couple of things that I'll highlight is, first of all, you'll be able to see what your network ping is. And by the way, I do have this connected to one of my other backup internet providers. So this is connected to our T-Mobile router. So this is a cellular router. So it's not going to be gigabit speeds, but it does provide us some really good backup options. So you can see what my ping is here. You can see how much has been downloaded or uploaded so far, if there's any kind of packet loss going on. We have, and you can establish priority devices if you'd like. This is going to be great, especially if you have kids in your home and you want to be able to, all you do is choose add. Any device that's connected, you'll be able to add it as a priority, which means that it's going to get all the streaming priority, all the download priority, Depending on, how you use that device, if you use that for work, you'll be able to do that. And let's say, for example, someone at home is watching movies on Netflix, you're going to get the best experience regardless of all the streaming that's going on. If you had this connected to a game port, you'd see that right here. Again, auto bandwidth controls. You can go ahead and configure this as well. This is going to prioritize how we, as we discussed, the type of internet activity that you want to have prioritized, either gaming, streaming, or email, or any of those other things that you'd be into. Here in the bottom, you'll notice that this is the machine that I'm connected to. I'm actually using a Mac Studio, and then you also have a console booster that you can play with. On the side here, you'll be able to see the router or network topology in one of two ways. You can either see the router, and you can see the number of clients that are connected, or you can go through a topology view. So you have this one, and then you have this one. Pretty straightforward. And then the devices that you have connected. Now at the top, you do have some options, right? So you can look at, this is your home. If you go into clients, you'll be able to see your clients. Yeah, you can look at your internet. You can look at your Wi-Fi settings with the Wi-Fi, again, the SID, and then all the parameters that you've established there. The more area really shows you how much this router has going on. And this is a really, really robust router. Full featured, full capable. You have WAN settings. You'll be able to configure single, dual WAN type connectivity. WAN and LAN settings as well. Here you can see starting IP. You can see pretty much the standard settings that you would find for this specific area. IPTV, IPv6. You have your wireless LAN. This is where you're going to configure out your Wi-Fi. You have your block list, allow list, the radio frequency to make sure you're getting the best connectivity. Your work mode, is it a router, an access point, wireless repeater, or WISP? You also then have your security and your ARP list, and you can see your MAC addresses. I'm going to be kind of blurring this out so that I'm not giving you all my IPs and MAC addresses. You have VPN connectivity, so PPT and OpenVPN. You can see here, I'm not going to go through all these, but this is everything, guys. This is like everything that you would expect to see in a very robust, professional-grade, gaming-grade router, right? Diagnostics you have as well. So here you have your network check. So I can do a start, and then I'm going to hit OK. So you can see what this does. It's going to go through, and it's going to go ahead and check everything for you. So this is a great way to check your network health. Go ahead and let it continue to process. It's going pretty fast. And as I mentioned, this router is fast, at least from a processing perspective, as I'm negotiating the screens, going from screen to screen. I've had other routers that as you go from page to page, it's kind of sluggish. This router is really, really snappy. So it's going to go through all its testing, and then once it's done, you'll see these little check marks here just telling you how things are operating. And so far, everything looks fine. And you'll notice that we hit 100%. So not a lot to worry about here, but again, it's good that you have these tools. Under systems, you'll be able to, again, look at your system time, login, management, upgrade the firmware if you need to, play with the extra LEDs, or even do your reboot. So we are on T-Mobile. You can see that right here. And this is a cellular hotspot. So we'll go ahead and run a speed test just to see what we're getting with this router. The router is actually right next to the T-Mobile hotspot. And, depending on the area you are, the speed is going to be higher, it's going to be lower. This router is performing well. So you can see it's just close to 100 megabits. I've seen at times that this has gone up to even almost 500. It all depends on, how many people are using it or not. Again, I use this as a backup router, so this is more than sufficient for the stuff that I need to do. And we'll see it's done. All right, so that was our speed test. And again, this is going to be based off of T-Mobile's network. So this isn't reflecting really the performance of the router. It's more or less reflecting the performance of the network that we have going on. And we'll do a second test just to see how well it does, see if it stays around the same area. And we can see that it is. So that's pretty consistent. So there's not a lot to show when it comes to, this side of the router, outside of the fact is that you can have good connectivity. You're going to have good range to cover your house. And then you're also going to have great speeds when it comes to the router itself and the performance, up to 512 devices, as we mentioned. So all in all,
I think it's a reasonable buy. I think it's a great buy.
So guys, that wraps up our review. See you in the next video.